welcome to Season 2, Episode 11 of Pro Wrestling's Top 50. I'm your host, Travis McNeil, and today we continue our countdown of the top 50 matches in Impact Wrestling history with match number 40 on our list, which is the TNA World Heavyweight Championship ladder match between the champion Jeff Hardy and the challenger Austin Aries from the TNA Turning Point 2012 event held back on November the 11th of 2012. Now, I think singles ladder matches nowadays are incredibly hard to pull off. We've become accustomed to the multi-person, kind of TLC style, Money in the Bank style ladder match of just, bodies flying everywhere, right? And all of these spectacular bumps. So I think a one-on-one ladder match is kind of become a little bit of a lost art. So even though this match happened 9 years ago now, which is a little crazy, it still feels somewhat recent to me. And I would say this is the best one-on-one ladder match in quite some time, unless there's, anything off the top of my head that I'm forgetting. So these guys had a great match for the title the previous month at Bound for Glory. Jeff Hardy kind of did this redemption storyline arc, he had overcome his demons that he had during his last reign with the TNA title that he squandered. So he came back, he won the Bound for Glory series. He fought Aries at Bound for Glory and won the title. It was an excellent match. After the title change, Jeff Hardy, introduced his kind of custom, Jeff Hardy looking TNA title. Austin Aries took umbrage with this, that the title that he had worked so hard to win and defend, was being disrespected. He stole that title from Hardy and essentially returned heel. And the thing that I find interesting with that is Austin Aries never really had a full-on babyface turn, I would say. During his run to the TNA title in 2012, although he was wrestling cleaner and he was positioned against heels, he never firmly established, that 100% face turn. So, although this seemed like Aries turning face once again, it's kind of like that those heel tendencies never really left him. So that sets up the ladder match here, very reminiscent of the WrestleMania 10 ladder match between Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon, and that there were two titles hanging from the rafters, one from the current champion and one from the previous champion that felt like he never should have lost the title. The style that they go with in this match is really, really cool because they kind of fight a little bit of the ladder match tropes that you'd see. So in a regular ladder match, right, there's constantly, guys trying to climb and getting thrown off ladders, right? So both of these guys go into this match with a sense of paranoia regarding, surrounding that happening, right? Especially Austin Aries is a very, calculated, cerebral pro wrestler. So he wants to make sure that he's not attempting to climb that ladder until he has Jeff Hardy fully incapacitated. So the early goings of this match, contain a lot of really clever kind of spots around the ladder where one guy would go out to the floor to get it, would get cut off by the other guy, they'd go back into the ring, right? It's Jeff Hardy that finally gets the opportunity to use the ladder first. They kind of do a tug of war over it on the floor. Hardy takes advantage, gets it in the ring, and what happens? Austin Aries immediately hits a Russian leg sweep to him off of the ladder. This match is filled with some brutal spots. It's a Jeff Hardy ladder match, so you kind of know what you're going to get from it. There's one spot where they actually have the ladder, standing vertically but upside down. So, the open part of the ladder is facing the ceiling. And Jeff Hardy misses a crossbody from the top rope, and Aries just kind of sidesteps it and slams him down, ribs first through, the opening kind of supports of the ladder. It was disgusting. And from there, he sandwiches Hardy through that open ladder and kind of hits his twisting, slingshot body block that he would do, over the ladder. It was just really good stuff. Aries finally decides that he's going to climb the ladder. As he's about to do it, he notices Jeff Hardy kind of stirring on the floor, so he stops his climb, takes him out with the heat-seeking missile, low pay to the floor, which again was just really smart. Rather than continue to climb and hope for the best and possibly get pushed off the ladder, he stopped what he was doing to tend to his opponent. Another great spot that leads from that. So before going back in the ring to climb the ladder, Aries decides to just bury Jeff Hardy under a ladder, under the ring steps, to make sure that he can't come in and cut him off. So Aries does that, goes back in, starts climbing the ladder, stops mid-climb just to double check that Jeff Hardy is still under this pile of, rubble that he's put there for him. And what happens is Jeff Hardy actually had crawled out from the rubble under the ring to the other side. He runs in, darts up the ladder, almost gets the title, leading to Aries very haphazardly pushing him off the ladder in just a nasty bump where Hardy, falls down on the ladder on a very awkward angle. What happens at that point, though, is the ladder that these guys are using has been destroyed. It's not functional. They can't climb it anymore. So they decided to just use it as a weapon. And again, it led to a lot of really great stuff. Jeff Hardy hit a Japanese arm drag to Aries into the ladder. It was just really, really, really great. So after they have this destroyed ladder, Jeff Hardy finally gets a new ladder, brings it in. They do some spots off of that. Aries hits a missile drop kick off of the ladder onto Jeff. But Jeff ends up hitting a twist of fate off of the ladder, hits the Swanton bomb, and finally looks like he has victory within his reach. And then again, just another super, super clever spot. Austin Aries, who's out on the floor at this point, knows that he can't make it into the ring in time and knock Hardy off the ladder. So what does he do? He grabs the control for the titles that hang, right? So for the wiring that's holding up those titles, and he actually uses that control to raise the belt. And I thought this was so good because TNA a lot of times they overbook things, and I thought it was going to be a very King of the Ring 99 style who rose the titles sort of deal. But then the camera panned to Aries with the control in his hand, and it was really well done. Hardy proceeded to just kick Aries' butt from pillar to post after that. And with the titles now being a lot higher, he had to bring out a huge ladder. This leads into a really, really good finish where both guys are on the huge ladder and the ladder tips. But what happens is rather than both fall to the mat, they fall onto a ladder that's kind of platformed over the top rope. So it's kind of bridged on the top turnbuckle there. Both guys crash down onto the ladder but survive, right? Because they didn't fall all the way to the floor of the mat, like I said. But Hardy proceeds to hit a twist of fate to Aries on that ladder bridge. Aries goes flying off of it to the arena floor, and that allows Hardy to climb up the monster ladder, pull down both titles, and retain the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. This is a really great kind of overlooked match, I find, from a period where TNA maybe didn't have as much fanfare as it had in previous years. Like I said, it was an incredibly effective one-on-one ladder match. It had a great story. It kind of broke the mold a little bit with what you would see in a lot of ladder matches, which I appreciated. Bunch of great brutal spots that you're going to want to see from a ladder match, and a very satisfying ending. This match, of course, can be watched on Impact Plus. You can follow the account here on YouTube by subscribing. Please follow on Instagram and Twitter as well at Wrestling50, and join me again tomorrow as we continue to count down Pro Wrestling's Top 50.